National Police Commissioner General Masemola has issued a public apology to victims of the Krugersdorp attack. Now, to remind you, 8 women were raped there in July of last year. They were busy shooting a music video at the time. Their personal information, including names and surnames, age, and even their physical addresses, were released publicly. Now, we all know how seriously you should be taking POPIA. It's the Protection of Public Information Act. Is there anything legally here that can be done to assist them? I'm joined by legal expert Melusi joining us this morning, making time for us here on the Friday edition of the South African Morning. Melusi, good morning to you. And apart from a public apology, which I cannot imagine is good enough, legally, could victims of something like this information being leaked, is there any legal recourse? Good morning.
Good morning to you, Gareth, and good morning to the viewers at home. Well, the POPIA Act has two approaches that one can use: the civil routes and the criminal routes. As you say, the information regulator ordered that there must be an apology that must be issued by SAPS and that there must be investigation that must be done. But the rights that you have as a data subject or a person whose rights have been infringed is that you can open a criminal case. Now, if you look at Section 99 to Section 109 of the POPIA Act, you can be punished for imprisonment of not more than 10 years or 10 million rand in fine. So one of the things that I would like to point out, Gareth, is that I haven't heard of any person being convicted in terms of the Act or any criminal trial being done in terms of the Act. So it will be interesting to see if the information regulator will push for a criminal trial to be done or a criminal investigation, because since the Act was in fact from I think July 2021, it has been very slow in assisting people who have been having their rights being infringed in terms of the Act.
Yeah, because I suppose the very worrying part of this, information should never be given out at the best of times, whether it's a business, a corporation, personally, over these call centers, whatever it might be. But in a situation like this, where these 8 women were raped and attacked, to have their personal information, even their home addresses, leaked as well, legally, maybe this is where more the criminality comes into it. And you tell me if I'm on the right track here. That's endangering their lives. I would imagine this could even be secondary victimization.
Yes, of course. If you follow the case, the people who were said to be the ones who were accused, I think the case was withdrawn, or the cases were withdrawn. So that criminal case was withdrawn, but at the same time, the institution that is supposed to protect the victims is the one that is further victimizing them by releasing their personal information. So I really think for us to really believe that the information regulator or any of the solutions offered by the POPIA Act are in fact, are going to be practical. This is the case that will assist us in that. So there are 2 things that the information regulator has ordered. One is that there must be a public apology that must be done by the SAPS, which has been done, and that there must be a further investigation. We are still waiting for that then to see if the police will really take this seriously. But what is good about what has been done by the police, that there has been an internal investigation. But as the public, we need to know how far the internal investigation has been done, because the people who were responsible for the information are what, according to our Act, is called the responsible party. And according to the Act, if you are a responsible party handling private information, there is punishment specifically for that person if you don't handle it in a good way, to actually, bring the rights in terms of Section 14 of the Constitutional Act, which says your private information must not be infringed. So I really want to point out that we need the information regulator, besides the public apology, we need to see more action.
I'll leave this as a last question, Melusi, as well, because you mentioned POPIA coming in July 2021. We're getting close to almost 2 years now. POPIA as an act itself has been around for a while. And you spoke about the remedies in law, currently from both a civil and a criminal element as well, if criminal or civil cases were to be opened. Do you see a space where the POPIA Act or POPI Act needs to differentiate between information being leaked out that is just considered private and confidential and information that's leaked out that could endanger someone's life, like this case that you and I are talking about. Should there be a different remedy depending on the severity? We can't paint all infringements of POPIA with the same brush. Not everyone's going to die potentially or be in danger because their home address was given out. Last question to you.
Yes, Gareth, that's a very interesting question. I've never thought about it, but it's very interesting. Because if you look at section, I think it's section 5 to section 7, it talks about how the personal information must not be infringed or must be protected. So the one that talks about endangerment, as far as I've read the Act, it's not clear what happens if the personal information that has been released, one can be endangered. But I believe that there are still solutions, because it says that if your rights have been infringed in terms of the Act, there's a civil route, there's a criminal route. I think that must be tested. Then maybe, as you know, the law is always flexible, it always changes from time to time. If it's clear that the information that has been released endangers one's life, and it's clear that there are more cases like that, maybe the legislator might want to amend the Act or add a few things to cover what you've been talking about, Gareth.
It should never have happened in the beginning, but luckily I have someone like you, Melusi, to help me understand the legalities of this as well. It's still quite a new act. It's only been just short of 2 years, but it really was a failure of the POPI Act, or POPIA, if you will, by the police. Melusi, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning here on the South African Morning.